Hello everybody, in today's video I'm going to show you a bit of modding stuff. This isn't how to make this puzzle, but I'm going to make some pieces from this puzzle, and I'm going to show you how to fill the little gaps that are left after the extension to make it look like one single piece and make it look really, really nice. And at the end of this, I will also tell you how you could get your hands on a copy of one of these squished eye cubes that I created and built. It's got my sticker on it and all that kind of stuff, so let's get at it. I've got some pieces here. You can see that this is basically two pieces of a puzzle that have been glued together. And we want this to look like one piece, which means we have to fill this gap that goes all the way around. And the same with this one here. Now, it's pretty important that you glue these together perfectly flush with each other, because if one is up a little bit and you fill this gap, well, now you've created a ridge, and it might be hard to sand that to a flat surface again when it's going to go over and then dip down a bit to this part and then over. And same with this, it would go flat like this and then it would kind of dip upwards, and then, you know what I mean? It's got to be pretty good. So you can just use whatever you need to do that. I just use a little miter box that's got a right angle, and I just put it in there and squish them together, and it bonds pretty instantly. So anyways, I'm going to do it with these two pieces, and what you're going to need is epoxy compound. Now, let me zoom out a bit. This is a two-part compound, A and B. You need equal parts and you mix them together. Now, for reasons I can't tell you the brand of this stuff, and I don't know where you live, so I couldn't tell you where to get it, but I can tell you how to get it. This is stuff that's used for boat repair. So when there's a crack in a boat or something like that, they mix these parts and they just kind of fill that crack, and it hardens up really hard, and then it repairs the boat. So if you need to, you can call around in your local area and ask for like boat repairs. Look on the internet for them and stuff like that, and ask them if they have a two-part compound for boat repair. That's this stuff. But I can't tell you what brand I got, and I can't tell you why, so I'm sorry for that. But that's how you get it. It's not hard to find, guys. Just use the internet a little bit. And then you'll also need some of this stuff if you're doing a black puzzle, of course, which I am. And this is basically just black dye. And that's what I'm going to use to color this stuff. Now, this stuff you can find basically at any place that sells fiberglass. This is what they use to color the fiberglass. It's extremely concentrated black dye. It's actually really thick as well. It's really concentrated. And they just put a little bit of this and they color the fiberglass to make black fiberglass. So you can find that there. You can probably even find it online with a quick Google search as well. So anyways, let's go ahead and mix this stuff up. Basically, and this stuff is really sticky and really thick. So I put it like this, and you can see I've done it lots before. And I just kind of mash it along like this. And I do this a bunch of times until I've got nothing really to pull anymore. And then I scrape it back up. And I do it again. And I keep doing this, so I'll just fast forward this. And you'll basically know when it's done because it'll become a little bit harder to pull. I'm kind of straining on this. You'll start to see like it's not smooth anymore. It's kind of fibery and stuff. And it's all one color, so this is pretty much done. So what I do is I scrape it all up, and then I put it on the edge of my material. Now what I'm using here to put it on is just a block of marble from like Home Depot or something like that. So now we want this and a little razor blade type of thing. We don't need much. And we just take a little bit. That's probably good enough. And we just smear it on top. Maybe just a tiny bit more. Smear that. Clean this off. And then we do the same process again. Now what I like to do is fold it over on itself and then pick it up. And then I can start again. And you can see that we're going to get some black streaks in here. And that's the fiberglass dye mixing in. Do it some more. And you just do this until it's completely black. It doesn't take too long. But I will fast forward this process. So I think I've got it pretty good, and you just want to make sure that it's all scraped up. And then can just put it here. Now you see I've got a little bit left on my knife. So what I do in these instances is I take a little bit of paper towel and I just fold the paper towel up considerably. That's probably good. I put it in there and squeeze and pull the knife out. As you can see, I've got lots in there, and I do it again. Kind of rock it back and forth to get it off your blade. And then it's also a good idea to wash the blade. But I've got time, so I'm not going to wash it right now because anything that's left is going to harden like a lot. All right, so now we're going to go into the actual filling of the pieces, and we're going to use one of these knives to do it. Now you can use a big one, a big box cutter, but this is a miniature one. I highly, highly recommend you use a miniature one for this. So we will start on the small piece. Now you don't really want to get the stuff on your hands either. You don't really have to wear gloves. It does wash off. It's not really hazardous for you. But you just take a little bit, just like this, and you put it on there, and then you just kind of move it over. Now what the difficult part of doing this is getting the corners, because if I go like this, you can see that it didn't really fill that corner in. It's got a little bit here but not the corner, so you kind of really have to be gentle with it and kind of go over like that. So as you can see, I've got that corner filled, and then you turn it and you just do it on this side. You can do it again and just kind of float over that corner. I never get the corner first shot, but there, the corner is done, and this piece is done. Alright, so as you can see, I've got the corner filled, I've got all these filled. I know it looks a little rough right now, but that's fine. And one thing that I highly suggest you do as well is you take your blade and you kind of go at an angle and scrape away some of the stuff that might be sticking out, because it makes it so much easier for sanding if you do that. So you can just do it really quick. And then you just put this one aside to dry. I always just let it dry overnight. So now we've got a big one. Okay, so I'm going to hold it like this and then go all the way around. So we get a little bit more material. Kind of stick it down and then fold it over. See, that's a pretty good one, but that's also pretty thick. I don't think I want it that thick. So I'm going to thin it out again by just pressing. Oops, see, I took it out of the corner. You see that? That's what you can't do. Otherwise the corners are very, very important, because there, I got it that time. A little bit thick here, but I can always scrape that away. The corners are very important because the front and the sides are always covered by the sticker. So even if you don't get it all, I mean, the sticker's going to do it, but it's good to get it all anyways. And I don't have to fill down here, and I don't have to fill this little tiny part right here, because when the puzzle moves, that doesn't show, right? I'm really only filling what's going to show when you move the puzzle. But I also fill backwards a little bit more than that anyways, just to be a little bit more professional. And so anyways, that corner is filled. A little bit more material. Do this. And then again, up and over. Now you see I didn't fill the corner again. So you just got to keep doing it until it's filled. Kind of float it over. Didn't get it again. And there we go. Got it. I can take that away. But I want to level it a little better. There we go. So as you can see, I've got this filled. The corner is filled. I've got a nice edge here. And then all the way over here. And then on this other one here, let me just put this one down. We basically got the same thing, right? It's filled. The corners are filled. The front's filled. This is filled. And the sides are filled. So anyways, that is how you do it, but I'm going to show you the sanding process and all that kind of stuff as well. I've got all this leftover material, but I'm going to continue to use this on the puzzle that I'm actually building. So I will get out a couple of them that are already done. So these ones here have already been done. This is from another version of it. So as you can see, it's hard. It's hardened up really, really hard. But it's not hard enough that you can't sand it, which is what we're going to do. So we've got that one and this one here. So now I will show you how I'm going to sand these. All right, so for sanding, you're going to need, well, you can basically do it however you want, but I'm going to show you how I do it. You have your pieces that you need to be sanded. You've got 2 pieces of paper. I use 2. Okay, this one is 600 and this one is 400. I start with 400 and I end with 600. So this is wet sandpaper, which means you can get it wet and it won't fall apart. And the best thing about wet sandpaper is that when you're sanding, it doesn't leave all of the material inside of the sandpaper. It actually goes into the water and it makes your sandpaper last a lot longer. So I fold it in half so when this side gets bad, I can use the other side. And what I'm going to do actually is fold this even more. I got a little thing of water here and I usually just dunk this in first. You'll find that if you fold it, one side will start bending up over the water, so I usually have that on my left hand because I hold it and sand with my right hand. So let's do the small piece first. Let me just zoom up here. And I like to dunk the piece in the water a little bit, put some on here. And then all we're going to do is just sand away. Now on small pieces like this, I do little circles. And I don't go too far, and then I take a look at my progress and I say, okay, I probably need a little bit more up in here. So sometimes I'll just go one direction and that forces the sanding to just hit one side. Now this actually isn't quite as filled as I would like it to be, but this still won't come out. You still won't see that when turning the puzzle, so that's fine, but usually I like to go right to the edge. So anyways, let's sand a little bit more. And still a little bit more. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. You can kind of see the black come up above it still, so we still need to sand that part. So because it's above, I'm going to just sand above it. And sometimes you won't be able to get it flat because you didn't actually glue it perfectly square. But you don't want to go too far, because if you do, you might sand it and make the puzzle too loose. So I think that's actually pretty good. So I'm going to do the other side. So we still got quite a bit of sanding to do there. So I'm just going to go one direction. I find a lot of the time just going one direction does a lot more than the circles, but the circles can be more even, which is why I always start with that. And then I refine by doing circles. Now you can see that we've got a little bit more down here to do. So I'm going to make sure that I'm sanding that way to get rid of this, because the pressure is always on the front. So if I sand this way, push a little bit towards the front, it'll get rid of that. And the reason I'm not using really, really coarse sandpaper to do this faster is because I don't want to scratch the pieces. This is fine sandpaper. I don't want to scratch the pieces and I don't want to sand too much. So on this, I can sand a lot and not remove a lot of material and have it still look pretty good. So I think that actually looks pretty good. So now I'm going to do the front. So the front still has a lot of material to come off, so I'm just going to go straight. When I go straight, I usually tend to press a little harder, turn it around. And you can really see how dirty the sandpaper is getting already. But don't worry, it's all in the water. So now you can see that I'm pretty good right there, but up here I still need more. So I'm going to sand this way now. But what I'm going to do is rinse this off, just dunk it in the water a couple of times, and it rinses off. So I've still got a little bit more up there. And it's not coming off, which means that I have glued it not completely straight, but it is sanded straight. So now we have to redo these edges. So basically I just kind of roll it, like I'm rolling it over the sandpaper like this to get that edge. And just slightly. And then the other side. And now let me wipe this off. So now you can see that this could use a little bit more sanding there, but I think it's because I didn't glue it properly, and that is completely flush. So if I get a little bit wet, right, you won't see that, which means that when I spray paint it, you won't see it. So we've got this side, that side, the corners are looking really nice. So when this piece is done and in the puzzle, it's going to look fabulous, but I should have filled a little bit more there, but that's fine. So let's go on to the bigger piece. Now the bigger piece, I generally always just do one direction. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. All right, so we've still got quite a bit more. You can see that it comes all the way up here. So I'm going to dunk it in the water, put more water down, and go again. All right, so you can see that you can start seeing the line here and end there, and you can see all of this material up here, which still has to go. So more sanding. And there you go. That's a perfectly sanded piece. So now I'm going to go off to the other two edges, and I'll come back when that's done. So there, we've got our two pieces. They have been filled, they have been sanded, the corners are nice, which means that when we spray paint this, it'll look like one little piece. And same with this one here. So I'm going to show you guys the spray paint that I use. So this is the spray paint that I use. It's Tamiya color for plastics. Now that's the only one I use, is this one for plastics. I find it works really great. It's really fast drying. You can literally spray a piece and blow on it and have it dry and cure. It's very, very fast. Now you would find this in model stores where you you buy little model cars that you put together with glue, little hobby shops. That's where you can find this stuff. I use TS29 and semi-gloss black. You can also get gloss black or flat black or any other color too, but I don't have good experience coloring a black color, different colors. So I always just go black on black because I only make black puzzles anyways. So I've tried the gloss one, and the gloss one to me just doesn't really look as good as the semi-gloss one with stickers on it. So that's the one I use. So let's go ahead and I'll show you guys me spray painting these two pieces only. Alright guys, so I've come outside and I'm going to spray paint these now. Now basically I'm just outside. I put some newspaper down and put the pieces on top. That's the really easy way to do it. The more professional way to do it is to take the piece and put like a stick for like a skewer or something and tape it on right there and put the other end of the stick in styrofoam so it sits up in the air and you can kind of spray around it. But I don't have that, so this works just fine. So anyways, I just go like that, shake up my paint, and then do quick sprays back and forth. Don't spray on top of it, so like this. And then I just let it dry. And now that it's dry, I do a second coat. And then I let that dry. So now that it's dry, I just want to flip the pieces over. Flip them over and do the other side. Let it dry. And now that they're dry again, I do another coat. And let it dry. So these are the finished pieces. So you can see how it turned out. It turned out really, really nice. You can still see the extension line, but only at certain angles when you got the light on it. And you can see that with Tripoom's puzzles as well. And so this is really, really well done. It's probably one of my better ones, actually. Actually, I do them all pretty good now. I've had a lot of practice, but... And in this one here, you can see the line, really nice corner. You can see that filled, really nice corner. Now you can see that I would have liked to fill this area better. Maybe I was rushing it, but you won't see that anyways because as it turns through the mechanism, it kind of goes only this much. And this is the final result of a puzzle, of this puzzle actually. I just sold one of these. This is my squished eye cube, and you can see that this here, it's got some lube on it though, is this piece, right? This one here is this piece. It's got lube on it, obviously. So anyways, I just sold one of these, but I have some more copies. The one that sold for $200. It takes quite a while to do. I mean, the sanding and the filling and all that kind of stuff. Plus, it takes 3 puzzles to make this as well. So I don't know. If you guys want one of these, you can email me at crazybagcuber@gmail.com. And that email is only for sales, guys. I'm not going to... A lot of people email me on that, wanting to know how to get faster. I just ignore those. That's not what that email is for. That email is for my puzzle sales. So if you want one of these, I'm not setting a price. Make me an offer if you want one. And we'll discuss that as well. The last one sold for $200, and the one before that sold for $351 at auction though. But I mean, you guys can give me what you think it's worth, and I'll let you know if I would sell it for that or not. Email's at the top of the description down there. So anyways, guys, that's how you do it. I hope you guys learned a lot from this. It took me a bit of time and also asking people as well how to do it, so I figured I would make a video showing you guys how to do it, and you can make some really professional looking puzzles like this by doing that. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on my next video.